Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope that you guys are doing well. Yada yada. Today we're doing something a bit different today. We're not really doing a reaction. We're gonna be talking today. We're gonna have a bit of a conversation, and it's gonna be a long one. So instead of my coffee, got my water. Today we're going to be talking about wayv on Twitter. Yang drops on Twitter in case you want to give your girl a follow. I recently joined wayv. I didn't think there was that much discourse in the fandom on the wayv side of things, but there is a lot of discourse. One of the most tiring discussions that I have seen is wayv a part of NCT or not? So we're just gonna go into that today. We're just gonna have a good discussion. I'm gonna hit you guys with some of the receipts and the facts that I have searched up myself, and then I'm gonna try to delve into both sides of the argument, and then I'm gonna give my little 2 cents. So before we talk about wayv and their debut and things like that, let's kind of just go all the way back to the beginning. As everyone knows, NCT debuted in 2016 with NCTU with the 7 Cents. A few months later, we got Fire Truck with 127's debut, and then a few months after that, we got Chewing Gum with Dream's debut. Right off the bat, everyone noticed that NCT had not a lot of Chinese members, but a more prominent number of Chinese members than you usually see in SM groups. Typically, SM groups are majority, if not entirely, Korean. And if there is a member of Chinese descent added into the groups, usually there is plans for a Chinese comeback. It's usually going to be used in some way to try to appeal to a Chinese market. From that point on, there were always rumors and speculations that NCT was eventually going to have a Chinese unit. It's also noted that in 2016, Kun did not have his official debut with NCTU, but he was included in the Chinese version of Without You, which also started speculations that they would eventually have a Chinese unit since they debuted with the Chinese version. In January of 2018, Kun was officially debuted with NCT 2018 with Lucas, who was previously revealed to be an SM rookie in like the early half of 2017. Now we have Kun, we have Lucas, who are officially debuted, we have Lunjin, and we have Chunla, and we have Win, and we have Tin, who is of Chinese descent, but he is Thai. Also, if you guys remember, in NCT 2018, there was an emphasis on vision, the word vision.
I see. 我眼睛就这样。
Vision. And so a lot of fans kind of started to speculate that there was a new unit coming with Vision somewhere in it. So a lot of people started to speculate that it would be called NCT Vision or NCTV. I saw a lot of people saying NCT Vision back in the day. Then on Twitter in August of 2018, SM officially stated that they were planning to release a Chinese unit for NCT with the working title being NCT China. They did not give us any more information. We didn't have any members. We didn't have like an official title or anything. But like I said, the working title was NCT China, but everyone had already speculated that Vision would be included, and everyone knew, almost confirmed, that Lucas and Kun were definitely going to be in it. The next month in September, Shajin, Hindari, and Yang were released. They were revealed to be SM rookies, solidifying the fact that they would definitely be in the new NCT China. Finally, in December of 2018, we got the group name wayv. In Chinese, their name is wayv, and we got their member lineup. The member lineup consisted of 4 previously debuted members, Kun, Lucas, Tin, and Win, and the 3 new SM rookies, Shajin, Hindari, and Yang. So in January of 2019, they released their debut EP, The Vision. We was right about The Vision. It had 3 tracks on it. 2 of which were already tracked by 127, Regular and Comeback, and then Dream Plan, which was their original song. Then they had what a lot of fans consider to be their official debut, which was Takeoff. Just other information about wayv, which will be important for the rest of this video. In September of 2019, their official fandom name, wayzini, was released, and their fandom color is the neon green, just the same as NCT's. Basically, since their name was revealed, from the reveal of who the members were, it was very clear from the beginning that they were isolated in some way or another. There was no NCT in their name. Like, if you look at Dream and if you look at 127's logos, they're very similar, but wayv had a different font, a different name. It was questioned from the beginning if they were a part of NCT or not. They are not promoted as NCT at all. And the only confirmation that we really have that they are even a part of NCT is SM CEO Chris Lee saying in 2019 that wayv consists of 21 members. wayv. NCT consists of 21 members.
Currently, NCT consists of 21 members.
So to begin, let's talk about why wayv and NCT are connected. Simply put, because SM says they are. A lot of this is opinion based. Technically, they are connected. Technically, through the company, SM considers them to be the same or in the same bubble. Another reason is there are a lot of nods to NCT throughout wayv's career. There was the entire hint of the vision in 2018. wayv debuted with Regular, which is a 127 song. They also had Comeback on their debut EP. And in Regular, they didn't change the line, ends with CT, begins with N. They could have very easily changed that if they really wanted to like fully disconnect the groups, but they decided to leave it in. And in the Moonwalk video, Xiaojun wears a little jacket that says Nobody on the back, but like the no is spelled like N-E-O, like Neo. I don't know if that's like an official nod to NCT, but I kind of just thought that was because it seemed like they like showed it for a second too long. Like it was just him walking up some stairs. I was like, they're trying to pull a okie doke. The group color is the same. Like I said, it's the neon green, and the fandom names are similar. They both have the Zen in it to nod to the citizen. And the biggest reason why people consider wayv a part of NCT is because to them it's not really SM's fault that wayv is disconnected. It is assumed that wayv is disconnected the way that they are because of that. So like I said, the working title for wayv was NCT China. I don't think they would have debuted with that title. I think it probably would have ended up being NCTV or NCT Vision, but it's speculated that wayv was changed to wayv to completely disconnect them from NCT, and that they are under label V and not SM Entertainment to disconnect them from NCT, SM, and South Korea in general because of, like I said, THAAD. If you do not know what THAAD is, THAAD stands for Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. THAAD basically is like if a missile is shot into the air, if it is projected at a country, at a region, somewhere, there will be a defense missile shot up to boom. There will be a oh my gosh, I'm so bad at explaining things. There will be a defense missile shot up to fight off that missile and to basically destroy it either in or outside of the Earth's atmosphere before it can land and cause mass destruction. We've deployed that in a few countries and in a few regions, but we officially made public our plans to deploy THAAD in South Korea in 2016 after there were threats made to South Korea from North Korea. THAAD was intended to combat North Korea. China was not comfortable with this because to be able to see a missile right when it is launched out of a hidden territory, you know, North Korea is very elusive. They're very private. You're gonna need high radar and like very advanced technology. That radar and that technology would be able to see right through China, and it would be able to know also when China is planning to deploy or when they do deploy a missile. China was uncomfortable with this because they felt like that would compromise their plans for their own like missiles, regardless if it's for their safety or anything like that. They were uncomfortable with this and they urged South Korea to not go through with deploying THAAD in their country. However, in 2017, South Korea, and after months of them trying to convince China that that's not what this was, it was not about China, it was completely about North Korea, it would not be used against China in any way, they officially went ahead and deployed that in South Korea in 2017, and China was very, very, very upset. Chinese citizens were allowed to publicly protest that in the streets, and they began to boycott everything Korean. A lot of Korean businesses, Korean media, Korean products, like Korean cars, for example, that were in China, their sales plummeted by 52%. It really affected South Korea's like distribution industry because China is the largest consumer market in the world. The Korea limitation order was put in place shortly after this. The Korea limitation order basically put a ban on all Korean media. So like Korean musicals and like Korean cultural festivals, things like that, they were all canceled and shut down in China. Korean actors who were based in China working on projects had to either quit their projects or they were fired from their projects. And there was a huge limit on Korean media being exported to China. Korean media including television, music videos, K-pop. Interestingly enough, something that I did not know, this ban was not lifted until December of 2019. So that is 2 years of this ban of Korean media being in place in China. As you all know, wayv debuted in January of 2019. So for the first year of their career, they were not really allowed to be tied to Korea at all. You know, so a lot of fans speculate that this is why SM put them under label V. This is why they are not NCT Vision or NCTV, NCT China, whatever it may be. And that is really out of their control. The final reason why people think that NCT and wayv are connected, this one's pretty straightforward, but there are NCT members in wayv. You have Kun, Tin, Lucas, Win, who's definitely the most active of all of the previously debuted members. He has been in 127 since debut, even though since 2018 he has not been in 127 because he has been so preoccupied and busy with wayv promotions. So let's talk about why people say that they are not connected. One reason is that they have different fandom names. It is noted that 127 and Dream do not have individual fandom names like wayv does. This feels just like a separation right there, you know, because there's always been the indication that if you're an in-citizen, you're an in-citizen. If you support 127, you support Dream. If you support Dream, you support you. And if you support one, you support all, you know. But with that separation of the fandoms, it kind of feels like it's not that. It feels like you can support wayv and not support NCT, or vice versa. Like they're different things, like they're different groups. Another reason is that wayv is an entirely different genre. 127 and Dream, while they have both had other language debuts, they are both still K-pop groups. But wayv is not a K-pop group. They are a Mando pop, or if you don't consider them C-pop or Mando pop, Tin has said that they would like to be like just Asian pop in general or global pop.
Identify also as an Asian group in that because like if you see in our album, there are also like English songs and Chinese song mix, and in the future we can do some other languages too. So like we identify ourselves as Asian.
But they do not really consider themselves K-pop, right? Which makes sense because they don't really sing in Korean. Another reason is that they are not under the NCT brand. I don't know if this is SM's app, but listen, LYSN, if you go on the app and you try to do Bubble, which is kind of where you can kind of just pay to get like special messages from the members of your group. If you go to NCT, it has all the members of NCT, including the Dreamies, 127, like there's no separation. But if you go under the wayv tab, then you have all of the members of wayv, and Tin and Winwin and Kun and Lucas have been removed from it. They're not under the NCT tab. So they are marketed as two separate groups. 127 and Dream are listed under the label of NCT, but wayv is listed entirely separately. Other groups don't really do this. Irene and Seulgi are still considered as members of Red Velvet. If you wanted to get to Irene and Seulgi, you would click on Red Velvet. It's not like that with wayv and NCT. wayv is listed as an entirely different entity than NCT. wayv is also not followed or promoted on any of the NCT social media accounts. Dream has their own Instagram and Twitter. 127 has their own Instagram and Twitter. And then NCT as a group has its own Twitter and Instagram. And it follows 127 and Dream and the members, and it promotes 127 and Dream and like the individual stations and things like that. They don't do that for wayv. wayv is not promoted on any of these social media accounts. They're not followed on any of these social media accounts. And the wayv Instagram also does not follow or promote any NCT anything. So there are no official mentions of NCT and wayv together, basically. Winwin has been all but entirely removed from 127. It's more than just like a hiatus. He's been inactive for about 2 years now almost, and there has been no sign of him coming back to 127 anytime soon. Apparently for their tour, he was marketed as going to, his picture was used, but he was not on there. I just saw that. I didn't look that up. If there's receipts for it, I'll put it in the video. Also, the members of NCT have notoriously gotten scolded for mentioning Winwin. They will get reprimanded for it. They will be audibly told to stop by the managers behind the camera, which really sucks, because 127, as you all know, 127 and Dream are allowed to interact. They post pictures with each other on social media. They post about each other. Some members of 127 and Dream just did their stage together. They react to each other's video. 127 react to Dream's music video. Dream reacted to 127's music video. Like, there's interactions, public interactions, where they are allowed to say that they are connected to one another. They are allowed to be a subunit of the same group. That's not the case with wayv. wayv's not allowed to publicly interact with NCT except for on Weibo, which is really interesting to me. Just today, Lentin commented on Yang Yang's post. It's kind of interesting how that works. I wonder why like they're allowed to talk on Weibo. Another reason is that like the members just don't really know each other. Jeno said on live one time that he does not know Yang Yang. He was like, you know, I don't know him. Like he was like, I don't know him like that.
거의 접점이 이거 만날 일이 없어요, 여러분. 그래서 가능할까요? 양양이랑 친해요. 근데 거의 진짜 말을 할 접점이 없었어요, 여러분. 루카스 형이나 쿤 형이나 이게 누구지? 텐 형, 위민 형 이렇게는 활동을 같이 했으니까 어느 정도 말을 할 시간이 있었는데 양양이라는 친구는 거의 활동도 해본 적도 없고 연습생 때 같이 연습도 안 해봤고 해서 친해질 수 있는 시간조차 없었어요.
And he said afterwards that Yang Yang actually went and introduced himself to him. It's kind of just like, how are y'all in the same unit, but y'all don't even really know each other? And as for an unofficial reason as to why people do not consider wayv and NCT to be the same unit, an unofficial reason is that Citizens don't ride for wayv the way that they ride for NCT. I always forget something. But another reason why people do not consider wayv connected to NCT is because Yang Yang, Hen3, and Xiaojun never really had a debut as an NCT member, and there is nothing official with their name connected or tied to NCT, unlike Tin, Lucas, Winwin, and Kun, who all had their original debuts as NCT members. So since they don't really have that, it's like, well, wayv must not be a part of NCT if they're not considered NCT members. One day I'm gonna stop forgetting stuff. So let me go into my 2 cents. So me personally, I said this in my unpopular opinions video, but I don't consider wayv as a part of NCT. I kind of just don't really register them that way. When I think of wayv, I literally think of them as a separate group. If I had to explain it, hang on. Oh my gosh, I just thought of something. So let's break it down. This is NCT, and then under here, you got you got 127, and you got Dream, right? If wayv is a subunit of NCT, that means that wayv would also be right there along with 127, Dream, and you. However, I don't consider this. I truly don't. To me, I consider it more like this. This is more how I consider it. I consider wayv to be a brother group to NCT. Let me explain. So clearly they are connected. There are just clear, obvious connections between NCT and wayv that can't be erased. But I do not consider wayv a subunit of NCT simply because that's no longer possible. I do believe that SM planned for wayv to be much more connected to NCT than they are. But I think that, like we said, with Chinese relations and with Thad and just the first year really of how wayv was handled, I think that's just impossible now. They are too disconnected from NCT, and they would have to almost entirely rebrand for me to really start to consider them as a part of NCT. Like I said, I consider them a brother group. We will kind of have to see what SM does from this point forward. It is possible. wayv just had their first album, like their first full-length studio album with Awaken the World. And it seems like with this album and with this comeback, SM has really focused on making wayv more international. They don't seem to be just strictly Chinese. They don't seem to be just strictly China based anymore. They have done a lot of promotions in Asian countries outside of China and South Korea. And like we said, they just released their first like Korean version. They had never done that before. They have a Korean version of Turn Back Time now. And they're also doing another English version. They just did an English version of Love Talk with their previous album. And now they're doing an English version of Bad Alive very soon. So it feels like SM is trying to change the trajectory of wayv. I think they are going to try to promote wayv as an Asian pop group or maybe even global. They might go even further. As you know, there are a lot of languages spoken in wayv. You have Mandarin, and you have Cantonese, Hindari, Xiaojun, and Lucas especially speak Cantonese fluently. You have German, you have Thai, you have Korean, you have English. Like there's a lot of skill in languages in wayv, and they are international members. So there is definitely possibility for wayv to become SM's first group not based in South Korea. I'm literally the worst YouTuber ever. I forgot why I was even talking about that in the first place. But the whole reason that I mentioned me feeling like wayv is becoming more international is because I feel like in the beginning, SM was trying to throw little hints and little subliminals that wayv was a part of NCT. But I feel like now, especially with this latest comeback, they are working on rebranding wayv. I feel like they are now more focused on helping wayv break out. SM has been trying to get a breakout artist for a minute. You see they tried to do it with NCT 127. You know, you had Red Velvet who had an English version of Bad Boy. You know, like they've been trying to get a group to be global for a minute. And I feel like they might try to start pushing that onto wayv. So I feel like at this point it's no longer a priority or a concern to them to try to give up the illusion that NCT and wayv are the same thing or not. I feel like now they're just like, okay, well, we're just going to focus on having this global boy group that we have wanted. This is a very divisive subject. There's a lot of discourse online about this. I have seen the girls fight on Twitter about this discussion because it is an interesting topic. People just really want to know, like, are they connected or not? Are they the same group or not? What does this mean for wayv? And I will say it does get frustrating. Like I said, even though I don't necessarily consider them as a part of NCT, it's not really something that I kind of get up in arms about. But it does get frustrating at times when I see how much it's kind of pushed on wayv to become a part of NCT and to do like NCT 2021. As you know, when they did NCT 2018, there were 18 members. So it kind of made sense that 2018, 18 members. And now that there's 21, there's speculation that they will do 2021, which could happen. Like I said, it seems like SM is changing the directory of wayv. And plus, now that the ban is over, they can freely promote in China, Korea, wherever they want without too much repercussion. So it could happen, but it is annoying to see on Kun's Instagram comments all the time, you know, NCT 2021, join 2021. You know, he's posting pictures talking about Bad Alive and his composing and his SoundCloud, you know, and Playv and all these things, and people are just berating him about NCT 2021 when he wasn't even treated well in NCT 2018. If I recall, he was the only member that did not really get any valid lines in anything. So yeah, it's kind of frustrating to see that happen, and I see why a lot of people do not want that to happen. But there are a lot of things I don't really get too up in arms about. I say wayshini, I call myself a wayshini. I don't get too up in arms if someone uses wayzini, or if they say wayvzin. I don't really get too up in arms about those things. I don't really care if SM changes the fandom color or not. Hello, I'm editing. But let me elaborate on that last line. So there are people who are generally upset and do not like the idea of NCT and wayv being the same because they feel like wayv has been so ostracized and mistreated in a way by SM and left out of the conversation of NCT that they just don't even want wayv to be considered a part of NCT anymore. So they would like for wayv's fandom color to be changed to red because, as you can see with his latest comeback, red is really the theme throughout this album. They would like us to no longer be called wayzinis but wayshinis, because wayshinis is a bit more like personal and it doesn't kind of just feel like a tag on to in citizen. So yeah, like there are just things that I don't really care about. Like, to me, they don't fully matter, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna support wayv and I'm gonna support NCT regardless if they are promoted as the same group or not. So that is it for this video. I don't know how long the final video is going to be, but as of right now, I have been filming for 43 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. But thank you guys for watching. This was really fun. I did a lot of research for this video. I kind of want to start a series like this of me kind of just like delving into popular debate topics that I see online and kind of delving into them and giving my 2 cents. So if you guys like this format and this style, let me know and I will definitely try to like do more. If you have any topics that you want me to kind of discuss within the K-pop community, let me know and I will go into them a bit more. But yeah, that is it for this video. I thank you guys for watching. Like I said, my Twitter is youngdrops. But thank you guys for watching and I will see you next time.